All right, we're going to go back to some startups. So investors, pay attention because I'm sure you're going to be hit up here soon. First up, we are going to invite another Grand Farm startup plot partner, Dan Cluff with Bactelife.
I hope this is on. We're on? Okay. If we could just give a quick round of applause for the Grand Farm and for Emerging Prairie, this is amazing. So just quick round of applause. As a startup, you're always trying to associate yourself with the right partnerships and the right opportunities. And as we've been developing this opportunity with the Grand Farm and Emerging Prairie, I've never seen a better ecosystem for political, environmental, every type of level of interaction. Seems like there's a place for them to play here. So in talking about Bactelife, we're one of these emerging ideas that you've been trying to look for. We feel a lot of pressure for our farmers that they're looking for new technologies, but trying to find a better way for them to test these technologies and to see them vetted before they apply them. And I think that's the role of the Grand Farm. At Bactelife, our role is to go after soil at an industrial level. How can we really make these biologics really perform better? And we face the same issues as farmers around the world. Where we started off, we were in Utah, and the last time that we had a drought as bad as where we started, we had to go back to tree rings 2,000 years ago. It was to the point where natural plants couldn't get the water and resources they need. Now you compound that with the fact that our supply chain hit disruptions that were unforeseeable. Farmers couldn't get the resources that they needed, and if they could, the prices were outside of their reach. So our current stated dilemma that farming is facing, and the world as a whole, is if we're going to make food more secure, we have to make our resources more secure, and there's an emerging need to make sure that our practices are climate smart, climate friendly, and farmers are the people that are caught in the middle of this target. We're finding that the trends of farming have some holes. In some of our longest term studies, we're seeing that though we have the best nutrient delivery, though we have the best irrigation, we're seeing that nutrients aren't transferring to our plants. And by the time that nutrient doesn't get to our plant, it doesn't transfer to the end user, us as a human. And so we're looking for making this nutrient transfer more efficient, and that's where we go after the biologics. So if you're looking about the relations of plants and humans, we depend on a microbial relationship. That's not in question, but how efficient can we make this? So H2 Organics is a unique way in which we've been taking biologics that have been developed over the past 40, 50 years and making them work more efficiently. What we do is we infuse nano-size elements, 78 different nano-size elements, along with the biologics. When you do that, you give your biologics the nutrients and the value that they need to form a relationship with the plant. A lot of the early emerging technologies were just showing, look at this biologic, look what it can do. And you take it from a lab, you put it in a field, and nothing happens. I think all of us have a bad biologic story in our past or someone who loves us. And we're trying to make that more efficient for our farmers. So what we've been developing over the past 4 years is going after multiple crops. We've gone after corn and alfalfa. And in our largest case study we've done to date, 12,500 acres, our farmers were able to increase their yield by more than 15% while conserving more than 4.5 billion gallons of water. So we're in that conversation where you can conserve water and resources, fertilizer, nutrients, inputs, and at the same time have a better crop. Imagine this. If the soil biome functions for every 1 inch of root hair, you can create 8 miles of connecting microbes and mycelium network that feed that plant. And so our goal is to create a synergy. We call this a nanosymbiotic catalyst, where these microbes can come together and transfer all these elements and all these nutrients into water, into the crop production. The other thing that's amazing is that if you can actually build this network that we're talking about, plants go from competing against each other to cooperating. In a sense, you're going after a superorganism approach, allowing this network to go into play. So as a company, we have had our milestones. We've been growing by about 750% a year. We have negotiations now into more than 2 million hectares around the world that we're working on. And we started here in the US, and we're finding that there is a lot of need around the world to shore up the supply chain and have better investment into our food security. So our executive team, we've won some awards in Utah. A lot of our strategy is going after having kind of a hybrid approach of having government opportunities with distributors around the world. And we're just wrapping up our $3.5 million Series A right now. We hope to be done with that actually by the end of today. So we're crossing our fingers, and if I look a little bit pale, I'm just super excited about this. But we're always looking for distributors and opportunities, and we see an opportunity in the Grand Farm to prove this out over time. So that's our presentation. Thank you.